It's time now for a look at some of the latest business news, starting as usual with a brief glance at the markets. This is how the main indices are faring over in Asia at the current time. The Nikkei there in Tokyo trading down 1.08% and the Hang Seng in Hong Kong trading up 0.49%. Well, for more, let's head now to Bangkok and speak to one of our regular analysts, Stephen Innes, who's the Chief Global Market Strategist at AXI. Stephen, thank you very much for being with us once again. Let's start with those markets in Asia and what's pulling them down or pushing them up this hour.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tug of war. There's a little bit of negative knock-on effect from the soft close on Friday on Wall Street. But today we had some pretty decent data coming out of China in the form of very, very strong GDP, which sort of underbellied and sort of buttressed risk sentiment in Asia to a degree.
Now, Stephen, a big week is dawning, politically speaking, in Washington ahead of Joe Biden's inauguration. On Friday on Wall Street, all major indices closed down as markets wait to find out how the Democrats' White House will act and what this transition period will feel like.
Well, if it's starting off as it's starting off in the weekend, I think there's going to be a rapid transition and a rewrite of a lot of Trump's executive orders. Already seeing on the oil markets right now, the Keystone Pipeline getting put on the back burner, and that's sort of negatively impacting oil markets to a degree via the oil communities and via the oil-linked currencies.
And finally, Stephen, there's some uncertainties here in Europe too, which are worthy of note.
Yeah, it's just the political climates in Italy is worrisome. And of course, that nasty COVID spread that continues to force politicians' backs against the wall to put the economies into lockdown. Seems like we're in this never-ending cycle. We're just fingers crossed that the vaccine rollouts will be quick enough to defend this COVID outbreak again.
Okay, Stephen Innes in Bangkok. Thank you once again for that market analysis and roundup. Well, staying with the business news, we head now to Northern Ireland. It's nearly 3 weeks since the Brexit transition period officially ended after what many thought would be an elusive trade deal between Westminster and Brussels was finally clinched. But post-Brexit trade between the mainland and this province is proving problematic, as Cami Nedelec explains.
Supermarket shoppers in Northern Ireland have been left with a bitter taste in their mouths as the shelves lie empty as a result of Brexit. This deli is also struggling.
We can't get deliveries, our companies are taking orders and then they're ringing us back going, we can't deliver that, until further notice.
Northern Ireland is aligned with the EU single market to avoid a hard border with the Republic of Ireland. But that means that British goods arriving in the territory are subject to checks in case they're then exported into the EU. Many businesses are struggling to adapt, and this is only the beginning. The checks are set to become even more complicated after a grace period runs out in March. Leading supermarkets have written to the government asking for a long-term solution to be agreed with the EU ahead of that deadline, as hauliers warn of long transport delays.
I've never seen disruption on REC movements on the scale we're seeing now. We've talked to lots of other hauliers and we're reporting 40% of trailers are coming back from GB empty. That's just something that hauliers could not have dreamed of.
The British Prime Minister admitted that there were teething problems, but insisted that goods are flowing effectively.